G'day guys, this is Shane. I thought today we'd do a comparison between two different types of Telecasters. We have the Squier Affinity series Tele, which is one of the entry-level guitars in the Squire range, up against this. This is the SX Tele. In Australia, these are very comparable in price. They're about the same price, so I thought this would be a really great comparison, at least in terms of tone. We'll cover how they look and all that kind of stuff at the end as well. Just to put it into some sort of context, at least here in Australia, for those who are familiar with the Squire Classic Vibe guitars, this, for example, falls about two-thirds cheaper. Two-thirds cheaper. So around 300 bucks retail, you'll probably get it cheaper than that. And the Squire Classic Vibes now are around $1,000 in Australia. 1,000 bucks. You probably get a deal price on it, but even so, they've gone up so much more. So I figured this would be a pretty close comparison, at least in terms of price. And at the end of the video, we'll take a little bit more of a look at the guitars in fine detail up close. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna start with the Squire Affinity series. We're gonna go bridge pickup and then both, and then neck on both guitars. I'm actually plugged into my Kemper, but I actually profiled my PV Bandit 112 with a Texas heat speaker on the clean channel with the volume all the way up and the T dynamics all the way down. So you get that sort of off clean sound. That's this particular tone. So let's give this a shot. And now over to both pickups. And now over to neck pickup. In the room, this guitar definitely sounds louder, but the thing is, louder is not always better when it comes to tone, so let me know what you think you're hearing in the comments below. And now over to some dirty tones. We're going to give this a shot. I've got the vintage drive channel dialed in. Let's give this a go. And now over to both pickups. And now over to neck pickup. And Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Shane. So let's break this down and compare these guitars in a little bit more of a finer detail. We'll start with the finish on the body. I think they're both pretty much even. The Squire looks great. The SX looks great. It sort of comes down to which one you like the best. The back of the guitars on both are finished really, really well. And yeah, it just depends if you like a little bit more of a transparent finish or whether you think having more of a solid color. You can see some of the wood grain through this. Hopefully it's coming through on camera, but it definitely is a bit of a different color. It's not 100% like the traditional butterscotch color, but it does look good. It's more of a sort of mustard color in my opinion. But then we get to the necks and you see there's a huge difference in terms of finish. Now, this is sort of like a low gloss satin finish, and it feels very dry to the hand, and a lot of players prefer that actually over something like this, which is a higher gloss with that vintage sort of tint. I really like this visually. It doesn't feel too sticky in the hand either, which was really, really surprising. So that also comes down to personal preference, but one of the things that doesn't come down to personal preference is the fret edges. The fret edges on this is so much better than these. These feel pretty terrible, especially along this top edge. They just feel pretty bad. The bottom edge, it's not great. Whereas this feels way, way better on both sides. So a little bit more care has been taken with the frets on this guitar, the SX, over the Squire, but it is a little bit more expensive than this one as well. Maybe they put that extra expense into actually finishing the fret edges a little bit better. Let's take a look at the headstocks. Here's the headstocks up close. Now, I'm pretty certain most people will favor the Squire just based on its traditional fender shape over the SX, which kind of looks more like a Stratocaster headstock with a little bit of a sort of groove taken out of it right at the end there. But overall, that's pretty cool. Now, another thing I should point out as well, the Squire has traditional tuners, so string through tuners, whereas the SX actually has the vintage tuners, which I prefer to no end. It makes removing strings a whole lot easier and swapping strings just a whole lot faster as well. Once you get used to it, it is actually a lot easier. I hated it when I first got it, not on this guitar, on another guitar of mine, but now I much, much prefer it, especially if you've got a broken string, you just want to take it off the edge, bang, you just rip it out and you're good to go. It's really, really like time efficient that way. In terms of the sound of both of these guitars, I like them both. This was definitely a whole lot louder. I would say it's probably a third louder than this guitar. Louder's not always better, but I thought I'd point that out. I really liked sort of the hot output of the bridge pickup on this guitar as opposed to the more mellow sort of sound of this. The neck pickup on this though sounded really nice, I gotta say. I probably preferred it over the neck pickup on the SX. So, you know, it's a little bit sort of like, which way do you want to go? It doesn't really matter. These are the factors that you have to take into account. Whether or not you're sort of married to a brand name and you like the fact that the neck is a little drier sort of to the hand and it might not be as hot of a guitar as this, or whether or not you can live with the headstock that looks like that, or if you like the high gloss neck as well and all that kind of stuff like I mentioned. So in terms of an entry-level guitar, both of these are really, really great. I would say that this one sort of feels like a better quality instrument, but I gotta say, I think this one just looks better, possibly just because of the headstock. But you know, for me, this is gonna be a project guitar where I rip pickups in and out of it and try different things, and that's why I wanted it. But either of these guitars would be great for that purpose as well. Thanks again for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts and I'll catch you soon. See ya.